Okay, Algebra 1 students, here is our guide video to go along with lesson 17, where I walk you through the digital student task sheets and how they match up to the slideshow. Please note that you have teaching notes in both of these places so that you can check your answers and make sure that you are doing things correctly. So we started lesson 15 just learning what inverse functions were, right? And we did it by playing a cipher code game, all right? In lesson 16, we formalized what we did with the cipher game by actually rearranging some given equations, namely for selling books and for Celsius temperatures. And so now we're going to use the idea that we can find the inverse of certain functions to answer different questions. Okay? So, with that being said, let's go to our warm-up. So, here we have a tank with some water in it. The function W represents the relationship between T, time in minutes, and the amount of water in the tank in liters. The function W of T equals 80 minus 2.5T defines this function. Okay? So they want you to pause this video and answer these questions right here that they also have in the lesson slideshow. So please pause the video and do your best to answer the questions. Okay, so you can see that on the right side on the digital student task statements, I've got it set to begin the second activity, 17.2, another look at the tank. So you know that they're going to go back to the same formula, the same equation that you worked with in the warm-up. So here is, once again, on the left-hand side, on the lesson side, you can see what that equation was, okay? And here are the teaching notes that will help you figure out what you were supposed to notice, okay? And I will just tell you that you can see that the slope is negative. So that means that the water is leaving the tank. The tank started with 80 liters or gallons, I'm not sure, but it's leaking out or coming out at this rate. Okay. So now let's take another look at the tank. Okay. So it was liters, 80 liters of water. So now what you're supposed to do here, and I'm going to invite you again to pause the video and answer these questions. So what they're asking you to do is they're starting to give you inputs, 13 minutes, and outputs, 5 liters of water, okay? And then asking you to either simplify the equation when you're given an input or to isolate the variable if you're given an output and solve for one or the other. Okay, so you're being asked to do both. Then they ask you to rearrange the function. So you can see up here, it's solve for W. So they want you to solve for T. So they want you to isolate T. Okay, and then answer a different question. So please pause the video and give that a try. So, like I mentioned before, students, on the left-hand side, you see the lesson slideshow. And you can see that they're asking the questions that were on the other slide that you've filled out. Okay, and then the teaching notes give you the answers. So hopefully you are using these answers in the correct way. Okay, and you are using the answers to check yourself rather than just fill in the blanks, because you don't learn anything that way. Alrighty, so let's move on. Here's the activity synthesis. So this slide will go over exactly what you should have gotten out of that particular activity. So now we're going to move to the last activity, phones in homes. Okay. So here you have a situation. You have a certain number of homes in 2004 relied only on a cell phone. Since then, the percentage of homes that used only cell phones have increased. We already talked about this situation in another lesson. So here is the percentage and how it changed. Then they give you a linear function to model this situation, how the number of cell phones changed. Okay, so I invite you to pause the video and try to look at this situation and answer all of these questions. Okay. Okay, young people, and once again, I'd like to point out to you that when you get to these particular slides in the slideshow, this teaching notes thing, this gives you the answers to the questions that they were asking you. So like I said, I hope that you are truly using these answers the way that they were designed, which is to check your work, not to just fill something out. So are you ready for more? We're going to let that go. And then you can see that they go into the summary for the lesson, which talks about the most important things that you were supposed to get out of this lesson. Okay, and the most important thing was, here is an example of a situation that can be modeled with an equation. And they ask you to describe it. And then they tell you that you could find the inverse of that function by solving for the other variable. And that would give you another equation that you could quickly use to answer the other question. All right, young people, I hope that these videos have helped you even a little. I invite you to please reach out to me to ask a question while I'm out. I will do my best to make up your grades in the evening when I have time to myself. Other than that, I will get to them as soon as possible. Please take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.